Okay, I'm going to call the Borough Commission meeting to order on December 7th. The boroughs comply with the notice provisions of the Sunshine Law by adopting prior to January 10th of this year a resolution prescribing the dates, times, and locations of all regular meetings of the Commission. This meeting is one of the meetings listed in such resolution, and copies of the resolution were, prior to January 10th, filed with the Borough Clerk. The boroughs comply with the notice provisions of the Sunshine Law by advertising in 2 local newspapers the change in meeting format from in-person to remote conference. Holly, you have a little flag you can sit up for us there?
Yeah.
We go all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the
of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it
for which it
stands,
stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
with
with liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Okay. I'll go right ahead.
Okay, need a motion to file the following reports. Tax collector.
Oh, it's so moved.
Second,
Let me just, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Hal. Commissioner Lewandowski is not here this evening. His mother passed away a few days ago. He is spending some time with his family and will not be able to make it. We have all extended our condolences to him and his family. I only got to meet his mom a couple times. She's a great lady. His dad had passed when his father was a very young man, and so the family's all hanging out right now. So that's why he's not here this evening. So go ahead, Hal. I'm sorry. The reports.
Yes, file the following reports. Tax collector, municipal court administrator, zoning official, treasurer, and CFO.
Move to accept.
second,
Motion to file the following minutes. August 3rd, 2020 and August 26th, 2020.
So moved.
second,
We have the following ordinances. Second reading and public hearing of ordinance 1693, amending chapter 29 of the Borough Code entitled Fire Department.
So this is a slight restructuring of the fire department, creating a deputy chief position. It's all in anticipation. It's kind of a short term for the next year, and it's related to our transitioning out of the shared service agreement with Pennsauken, where we do housing inspections and fire code inspections jointly with them. Pennsauken wanted to bring that to an end for personnel issues at on their side. So we're doing that, and this is related to making that transition for us to have some full-time fire staff that will be doing these housing inspections. Anticipation is come the end of next year or soon, right around that time period, with other retirements that go on, we'll be able to roll the department back to the size that it is. It'll be one more than it usually is as we go through this transition period. This is the public meeting on this ordinance. If there's anyone that would like to be heard, this is your opportunity to do so. If you could just raise your hand on the on your screen, and we'll recognize you for any questions or comments. Okay, not seeing any. Hal?
Mayor Maley,
Yes.
Commissioner Leonard.
yes,
Okay, we have the second reading and public hearing of salary ordinance 1694, deputy fire chief.
And this is setting a salary by ordinance for that position of deputy fire chief that falls between the salaries of the chief and the lieutenant. This is the public hearing on the ordinance. Anyone like to be heard on the ordinance? Just raise your hand on the Zoom options and we'll recognize you. Okay, not seeing any. We'll close that. Hal?
Mayor Maley,
Yes.
Commissioner Leonard.
yes,
We have the first reading of ordinance 1695, salary ordinance.
So this is the general salary ordinance that we'll be adopting to go into effect for the 1st of next year. This is what sets the salaries based on the contracts for our police, fire, our public works that have all been negotiated, and set the increases for the rest of the borough hall staff, for for the most part, it's a 2% increase for folks. The public hearing on this will be, I'm sorry, December 29th. It'll be our closeout meeting, December 29 at 10 a.m. At the Borough. Well, it'll be remote. I take it back. It's usually Borough Hall. It'll be remote. December 29th. It's the usual end of the year salary ordinance that we do for all employees to start for next year. Okay, Hal?
Mayor Malley,
Yes.
Commissioner Leonard.
Yes.
Okay. And then we have the first reading of ordinance 1696 for water rents.
So I want to spend a few minutes talking about this. We have on with us tonight Steve DiUrio, who runs our water department, and Rich Spafford from the Merchantville Pennsauken Water Commission. Merchantville Pennsauken was hired by the borough a few years ago to help us operate our water system to try and improve things. We had a few people retire, and we brought Rich and his crew in a shared service to help modernize us, get us up to speed. There's been a development over the last several months with respect to water quality that is having an impact on a lot of towns in New Jersey, quite a number of them. It's the presence, or I shouldn't say that, there's been the presence, but the state has now set a standard for a PFO, PFA is what they're called, but it's a contaminant within the water that the state has issued new contaminant rules that are pretty strictest in the nation. They're going to kick in next year, and it is going to, one of our wells, we're going to have issues with this. So we're taking some preemptive steps on a temporary basis with an eye toward a long-term solution. And I have Rich and Steve here. Rich, could you talk a little bit more detail for us about what the problem is, what the issue is, and then what the plan is?
Yeah, the state of New Jersey has been very active in setting new limits, especially they went after all PFC compounds. I mean, PFC is basically very similar to Teflon. So the different compounds, the limits they set were roughly anywhere from 13 to 14 parts per trillion. So it's a very, very minute compound. They're finding it everywhere along the Delaware River Basin. So obviously that's where we are. We have two treatment plants, the west side and then the one over at Roberts Pool. Roberts Pool does not have any of those specific contaminants at that level. So we're in good shape there. Over at the west side plant, the plant on Comley Avenue, one of the three compounds, we hover right at their proposed limit. So you're sitting at 13 parts per trillion. We've seen anywhere from 7 or 8, depending on the sample, upwards of 15, 16. So we are going to need to do something in order to make sure we stay compliant at that plant. Long term, the right answer is it's a carbon treatment. So you have large carbon filters or 20,000 pound filters that will remove this down to non-detectable limits. The problem there is anytime you have to permit a plant, design a plant, and construct the plant, the time frame is not, I mean, this becomes effective January 1st. So the time frame is you're looking at 2 to 3 years by the time you go through the design, the permitting through the state, and then the construction. So in a temporary fashion, what we've done over in Merchantville, Pennsauken, and what we're looking to do here is to rent temporary units from one of the carbon manufacturers. We can set them up outside. We can do a temporary permit with the DEP where we can get it through very quickly, and we can run it on a month-to-month basis until we can come up with a more permanent solution.
Okay, Stephen, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I mean, he summed it up pretty good. And I know that water treatment is not always a very exciting topic, but it's an exciting time to be involved right now. New Jersey's always at the cutting edge of being on top of all these environmental contaminants. And as Collingswood, we've always been ahead of the curve on many different topics. So we're just excited to get ahead of this and move on with our treatment processes.
Thanks, Stephen. And I just want to add a couple things. One is, while there's the time involved in doing a plant, the estimates are, Richard, I'm correct, like $6 to $7 million is what we're talking for the plant work that we need here, right? That was a number, Cassandra? I'm on, right? 6 to 7?
Yeah, it was in the 6 to 7 range.
Okay.
I just
So-
did one of them. It came in at 5.85 million.
Okay.
So,
So we're also going to making our effort. We started this some time ago with the state of New Jersey at the DEP. They have a fund that's called the New Jersey Spill Fund that can help provide compensation. They'll do either low cost loans or direct grants to towns. And so we're obviously taking first steps to try to get other people's money to pay for this. We're going to do all that we can in that, and at the same time be working on the plant and the full fix to this for for down the road. In the meantime, we're doing a short-term fix on this to make sure we stay below the levels that have been set by the DEP. This ordinance, bring us back to this ordinance, is a water rent increase of 5%. It is primarily due to these additional costs we're going to have for basically putting in these temporary charcoal filters that will make sure that this contaminant stays below the DEP permitted levels. So the public hearing on that, the public hearing on that will be December 29, right?
Correct, yes.
Yep, December 29 at 10 a.m. Okay, Hal?
Mayor Malley,
Yes.
Commissioner Leonard.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we want to open it up for public comment on the resolutions. So this is public comment that's limited only to the resolutions that are on the agenda. If you have any other just general comments, we'll be happy to entertain them after we get through the agenda. So if you just raise your hand, I'd be happy to talk to you. Okay, not seeing anyone. Hal?
Appointing Jacob Bennett as full-time police officer for the Collingswood Police Department.
Yes.
Yes.
And Kevin, is Jacob, like we have him, do we do the oath right now, or do you want to like swear him in the morning in person?
I don't have him. He's day work tomorrow if you want to try to do it tomorrow.
That's fine. We'll do it in the morning. Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. Go ahead, Hal.
Appointing Jeffrey T. Joyce as fire official for the Borough of Collingswood.
Yes.
Yes.
Appointing Alexandra Fitzpatrick as part-time EMT firefighter for the Collingswood Fire Department.
And Chief, these are all with your recommendation. I'm not going to ask you each one. These are all with your recommendation, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
Appointing Cole Dyer as part-time EMT firefighter for the Collingswood Fire Department.
Yes.
Yes.
Appointing Robert Fox Jr. as part-time I'm sorry, that was, I did not correct that on the agenda. Appointing Robert Fox Jr. as inspector for the Collingswood Fire Department.
Yes.
Yes.
Appointing William Tessing as part-time firefighter EMT for the Collingswood Fire Department.
Yes.
Yes.
Appointing Michelle Crawford as administrative assistant to the Collingswood Department of Public Works.
Well, that'll be Melissa, but yes.
What did I say?
Michelle.
Michelle, oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Authorizing acceptance and execution of a grant from the Camden County JIF for police accreditation services.
So this is a process that we'll go through with the JIF supervision. And Chief, why don't you talk a little bit about Chief Carey? Talk about what this is.
So New Jersey has set up best practices within the state that law enforcement can follow. And this is just a guideline to help us through that process. During that process too, JIF overlooks it because it's going to reduce some of our liability as well. So as we go through that process, JIF will be overlooking it and they reimburse up to 25% of the cost at the end of it once we become accredited. It takes about a year for that to happen. We're about 2.5 months into that and we expect to be accredited, I would say, by August of next year, hopefully.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Authorizing acceptance and execution of a safe and secure communities grant program.
This is just agreeing to get some free money. Yes.
Yes.
Requesting approval of items of revenue and appropriation for the Safe Routes to Schools.
This is, Cassandra, this is just funding related to the project that may actually start one day.
Yeah, it has to go, it has to do with switching over to the second bidder and the discrepancy in cost and just authorizing those funds.
Got it. Do we have any date that we think somebody might put a shovel in the ground?
4 years. No, I will check. I know that they're moving
Okay.
the process to get rolling, but I'll try to get some dates from Lexa.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Go ahead, Hal, I'm sorry.
Authorizing rejection of proposals submitted by the professional service for professional services received on November 13th, 2020.
So we're rejecting all the proposals we got in on RFPs for professional services. It was suggested by some members of the public that it might make sense for us to go out on RFPs, even though under the pay-to-play rules, under the state legislation, there's no need to. It doesn't change what limits political contributions can be made at locally. So we did go out on RFPs. Difficulty was because none of our professionals are used to this and have done this for several years now. We had a number of positions in which we had no bids whatsoever, and some of them in which a few of them in which we had not one. So we're just rejecting them all. Going to redo it. Make sure we make specific contact with those people that are our professionals today. Allow them the opportunity to submit a proposal and re-advertise it out. We'll also notify those people that did supply proposals. So this is rejecting, and then the next one is authorizing the re-advertising of it, which is just the back end of this. So Hal?
Authorizing to re-advertise solicitation for RFP for professional services.
I don't know that we voted on the rejection, did we? But
okay.
So how about we just vote on both, Joan? I'll move both those resolutions.
Yeah.
I vote yes on both. Yeah.
Yes on both. Understood.
Thank you. Authorizing participation in the Camden County cooperative pricing system for deer carcass removal.
Yes.
Yes.
Authorizing a lien on the property located at 600 King Avenue.
This is related to property maintenance. Yes.
Yes.
Canceling tax account balances and utility rent balances less than $5.
This is an end of the year bookkeeping just to clear books for minimal balances. Yes.
Yes.
Authorizing a budget transfer resolution.
This is the time of year when we're allowed to transfer money within the budget to different accounts to cover one when there's a little money available in another, and that's what this is doing. Yes.
Yes.
Approving the 2021 Board of Commissioners meeting schedule.
So there will be meetings next year, and this lays out the schedule first Monday through the rest of for all 2021. Yes.
Yes.
Authorizing an agreement between the Borough of Collingswood. Oh, sorry, that's it. That was all.
Well, no, we're pulling that that resolution about authorizing a contract with the FOP because there's some things that arose last minute that it's not been finalized, so we'll have to hold that off until next year.
Okay.
So it's paid bills, Hal.
All right. And authorizing payment of bills as presented by the treasurer.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I have.
Thanks, Holland.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Leonard.
So the town looks beautiful, and thanks to everybody, all the neighbors who've made a time that is very difficult for a lot of people because of COVID and different losses in people's families with employment and other problems. Thanks for making it look so beautiful. The borough does its part, so do the businesses, and so do the people, as always. So it has the air of warmth that we all love. And don't forget to shop the downtown. I hope you're enjoying the videos and the efforts put out by choral groups to try to keep the season bright, and a happy holidays to everybody. We miss Commissioner Lewandowski tonight and hope that his family will be at peace during this difficult time. And you may have read in some papers that I'll be retiring and not running for office in the spring, which is true. And I will miss this office very much and just loved every minute of it. I'll be here for a few more months, but I just wanted to say that in case you were seeing things, and know that I'm happy to talk to anybody anytime about how wonderful it's been to be in office and all of your thoughts. And I look forward to somebody new out there running with Team Collingswood. So I just wanted to say my words of gratefulness to the team, preliminary, even though it's still 2020. And I hope everybody's family stays healthy during this holiday season and free of flus and COVIDs. Mayor?
Thanks, Joan. Let me start off by thanking Joan. As Joan mentioned, she announced that she's going to be retiring at the beginning of next year. there's so many stories. We talked a little bit Friday night, but there's so many stories. And I think the one that we'll talk more about, Joan, at a later meeting, but the one that really gives an idea of the passion and the tenacity is our streetlights. Way back when we were doing, yeah, she's laughing because we were doing work trying to, to get some improvements done on the avenue, make things look a little bit better. And Joan, of course, was looking at the aesthetic side of it. And PSE&G set, they had a book. They have a book of streetlights that you can pick from. And the street light that she liked wasn't in the book. And so PSE&G just said, well, it's the book. That's it. There's nothing you can do about it. That's our book. And I remember talking to her. She was frustrated. I remember talking to her and said, like, don't give up. Just don't let that be. Don't go. And well, there are times when I've regretted having said that, but she didn't give up. And PSE&G now has a new lamppost fixture in the book. It's the lamppost that she got them to approve in Collingswood and got them to put up. She's got a long legacy. We're going to spend time talking about all that at later meetings. I want to thank her for all of her service.
Jim,
yes.
The light is called the Collingswood light.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
our little town got a little bit famous on there, which is, I always like to see the town's name out there so that people will get to know us, and for all of our quirks and good points and everything about it. That was a nice story. And I love to see our name out there and something that marks us as a place of historic and charming,
The title of the story on my end is "Be careful what you ask for, you might get it." So I want to touch on a couple of things. One is the pandemic, is COVID. I cannot stress enough. I know some of the state's numbers have gone down a little bit today. Camden County numbers have not. Our numbers that we got today with the testing results over the weekend, which are not always the most accurate, because they're spread out and there's a lot more testing getting done. But we've got, I think it was like 14 positives we had over this weekend. It ranges, I think there was one person over 60. It's pretty much people in their 20s to 40s. I am told by the county that their tracers are reporting that for the most part, it's small family gatherings where they're seeing the biggest spread. So I need to urge all of you, as we're, in these, I'm sitting here at home looking out at all the Christmas lights everywhere, need you all to really be cautious. We need to really take care of one another. We need to follow the rules. And I know it's just awful for this time of year to think you're not with family members, but really got to think hard about who we're going to spend time with, so that we all make it the next year. Related to that, our business district is, I believe, over the next few months, going to be going through the worst of this. It is, the numbers from the county over the last 5 days, we're at a number of positives that are triple what we were for any 5-day period in March and April this year. Okay, just to give you an idea of how extreme it is. And I think you'll find, like in my office, it used to be we didn't know anybody that was positive. Now we know a whole bunch of people that have tested positive. Well, our business district is going to bear the brunt of this. We've kind of built things around restaurants. They have become the anchor for our mall, our little mall out there. They are going to be hit really hard through this. So really urge you, for all of our businesses, think them first, think Collingswood first. Do what you can. I know Amazon's really easy to hit a couple buttons and have it delivered to the door, but please think about them first to try to get those gifts, presents, meals, have that party, get by from them, have a smaller party just with, your immediate family. But really want to urge you all to take advantage of them as much as you possibly can. The last note I'll touch on is there's a little bit of work that's happened at That's Amore. We're crazy frustrated by the process. It's just over a year now that the owners, for those of you that come, we're out at the public meetings, the owners were out, telling us how they would, fix everything. And they would take care of it. And we're over a year now. And my fear is that we're heading into the winter and they're still not going to be able to finish the exterior of the building. So we have been on them constantly. We have a ton of emails and getting updates of schedules, promises. We need to see what actually comes of that. On the Montegrillo side, the property right over by Arts Plus, right over by Kitchen Consigliere, we were finally able, through Cassandra's kind of taking a little bit of the page from Joan's book, kind of wore down the folks at PSE&G on a different front, and we were able to get some service out to replace some gas and electric lines that run into the property. That work has been done. We expect the Montegrillo folks to be soon doing their side of the work. It's kind of the lines have now been run up to their property line, and now they have to bring it inside. Any of you that are having work by contractors done realize that this is probably the busiest any of them have ever been in their existence. And so we're hoping to get them out there to get something done on that pretty quickly. So that's all I have. We're going to open to the public. Rich Spafford, I see you're still here. Rich, thank you so much. You are more than welcome to go if you would like. Okay. Thanks for your help. And we're going to open it up to the public. Anybody who would like to bring anything before the commission, just raise your hand and we'll be happy to recognize you. Going once. Okay, not seeing anyone. We'll bring this meeting to a close. We have one more meeting this year, December 29 at 10 a.m. It'll be virtual again. You'll be able to log in. It's what we refer to traditionally as our cleanup meeting, kind of do any financial transfers that they need to do. Hope you all have a wonderful holiday. Oh, you know what? Next week, 16th, right? 16th is we'll be doing the actual. They'll be doing the actual flame lighting of the menorah. I know we did one for the presentation for our presentations, but that'll actually be going next week. You'll be able to catch that on Zoom. And you know what? I have one final thing. I want to thank Rebecca and Dawn with the Borough for the work that they did. Hopefully you all got to see the video that was put together by the Borough. It's our first time, so we're going to make it better if we ever have to do it this way again. But I was telling some of the folks at the Borough, my 7-year-old neighbor was wanted to check with me to make sure that I saw what I saw in person, what she saw on the video, which was the Santa's reindeer up on the roof. So even though it didn't all go exactly the way we had planned it to go, for a very important audience, it had the desired effect. And we hope everybody gets the reindeer on their roofs this year and have a great holiday. Thank you all. We are adjourned.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, gang.
Everyone.
See ya.